If you told me 5 years ago that I would have left my law firm job in New York City, had 2 kids, we're living in Orange County and running our own design studio, I would have said you were crazy.
It's just crazy to think about a UI designer and a lawyer is now managing $20 million worth of real estate on an annual basis. But it's kind of crazy to think that we almost didn't do this, because what we are proposing is something that everyone would prefer.
We are a boutique real estate and design studio that specializes in transforming luxury single-family homes. We've built a multidisciplinary team that shares our passion for art and design. Our mission is to create meticulously crafted spaces with elevated aesthetics that resonate deeply with those who will inhabit them.
We met back in school.
Fall break of 2007. I still remember exactly what you looked like too. You had
we don't need to go into that. That's
you had your detail. Like California beach boy vibe going on.
Yeah.
Very different from now.
So Haran and I, we lived in New York City for many, many years, and the first project that we worked on is actually our own apartment. We completely gutted the place and we renovated it ourselves. I mean, we've been dating for a while at the time, so we just really wanted our own space. And so we went apartment hunting. We fell in love with the neighborhood. We're in Tribeca. It's just a different lifestyle than your normal madness that is New York.
I think this idea is like, what can you change versus what can't you change? Which neighborhood are we in? How does it make us feel? That is much more important than like, what does the inside of the apartment look like? Because that is something that we could change. We've been doing long distance for so long. No place really felt like home where we could really spread our roots. And so this was kind of our first opportunity to do that. And yeah, that was like the impetus for renovating.
We only had 800 square foot of space. It really is about maximizing every single square inch that you have. It's a very difficult design challenge. So we actually did hire a design and build firm, and they were very focused on the look of things, and they were really coming up short on how we really want to maximize our space. And so when it comes to the actual layout of the apartment, the customized elements, we ended up designing the apartment ourselves, honestly. Like, we had a designer assigned to us, but she was mostly just helping out with sourcing materials. We didn't even realize it until after the project was done, and then we have friends coming over, and everyone was like, oh my God, Jerry, like, who did you guys hire? Could we hire the same designer to renovate our apartment? And we had to tell people that if you want something that's a really customized solution, you should probably look for someone else. I feel like if we never had kids, we would be in New York forever. We would be in New York forever, right?
One of the biggest pluses, I think, of having kids is that it forced me to take stock of like where we were and where we wanted to be, right? Like, you always tell me like I'm the type of person to get complacent or like get kind of stuck in my routine, right? If we hadn't had Kaden, like I probably would have like just continued with my law firm job and kind of stayed in that pathway and never like actually thought about like what I wanted for myself beyond that. Most people never have that like come to Jesus moment where they stop and think.
We are both very family-oriented people. As much as we love the adventures that we had in New York, I think ultimately we've always known that we wanted to set up our home somewhere in Southern California. And what really expedited the process was COVID. We had our first child and we were locked in a small apartment. Family was far away, Haran's family was far away. The city was in complete lockdown.
I mean, at that point, it was like in the thick of COVID, so all the businesses were boarded up, people were in quarantine. So many people we knew actually passed away. We just realized it wasn't sustainable to stay there with a newborn. So that's why we decided to pack up and drive across the country, and thinking it was gonna be a temporary, like couple months thing maybe, and then just never leaving once we arrived.
Yeah.
I started on that pathway to becoming an attorney back in college. I like to think that was 10 plus years of my life that I had invested in this pathway, and then all of a sudden completely leaving that was like a really scary thought. And it felt like it was such a waste for me to have not continued my previous path.
You can't think that way, though.
That's what I mean. I mean, luckily things worked out.
No, even if it didn't work out, you can't think of it as a waste. You know?
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I was working East Coast hours while taking care of an infant. Like, I don't know how I survived. Also living with my mother-in-law in her house, doing like all the housework, cleaning, cooking, appearing in court virtually on Zoom while simultaneously breastfeeding a baby. I don't know how I survived that year, honestly. But then making that decision to pursue this full time and wanting to work together as a team, I think that was kind of when it all began.
The offering that's on the market are the really old, dated homes that you will have to invest a whole bunch of time and money to basically rework the whole house. Or you can buy a new property from a developer or a flipper. Everything's spanking new, but it doesn't have any sort of character or personality. You would think that this is just a problem that probably exists in entry-level homes. No, like even these ultra luxury homes, it's the exact same problem. So I thought that what we are proposing is something that does not exist on the market currently. So we did it. We made our own third option for people. And I mean, the response shows. We have people flying from out of state to come see our homes. And it just really proves that people really do appreciate this. And we need more of this type of options out there for people.
Right, it's kind of crazy to think just how much we've evolved from when we first started.
Yeah, it's very rewarding, and I'm really, really proud of the team that we have curated. To think that we went from renovating our own apartment to now we have 5 projects running simultaneously, all full scope renovation projects. They all have their own character, they all have their own sets of challenges.
There's a confidence that's come with now having had that experience. So it's more excitement of like, oh, I can't wait to see like our vision come to life.
I think the best analogy is kind of like playing music. There is at one point, you've learned all the basics, you have all your foundation now, and now it's time to jam. We're at a phase where every project is just a freestyle project where we really get to be creative, we really get to have fun, and every project has its own personality. And it all comes out so unique, and that is what makes it so exciting.